Hey, have you heard about OpenTofu? It's an open source infrastructure as code tool, and it uses providers, variables, and resources, as well as modules that you can define. If that sounds a lot like Terraform, that's because it was Terraform. See, back in 2023, HashiCorp adopted this business source license. Right? They moved away from the Mozilla public license that they were on and adopted the business source license that was a little more restrictive. The last fully open source version of HashiCorp Terraform on the Mozilla public license was this 1.5.7 release, right? And if we come down here and we click on license, we can see, yep, Mozilla public license. Great. Well, when they changed their license, some people backed by the Linux Foundation decided to fork HashiCorp Terraform, creating OpenTofu, right? Believing that the business use license or business source license is a poison pill for Terraform. And they had the goal to ensure that Terraform always remains truly open source, right? So they forked it, creating a 1.6.0 release of OpenTofu, and the Linux Foundation has been maintaining that fork, right? With contributions from the open source community. So how's that going? Well, from a contribution standpoint, it's going really well. They've put out 2 minor releases, but from a legal standpoint, yeah, there's problems, right? There's been cease and desist letters. There's been public responses to those cease and desist letters. And hey, I'm a developer. I try to ignore that stuff, right? But what I do pay attention to is the features that they're releasing. So remember, when they forked, they created a 1.6.0 release of OpenTofu. Well, the 1.7.0 release came with one of the longest requested features in Terraform: encrypted state files. So normally, right, in good practices, we don't store our secrets, our credentials in plain text. With Terraform, we just kind of accepted that that was a necessary evil. The earliest issue that I could find asking for state file encryption was from 2016. And since then, there have been many more issues open with proposed solutions, but the official documented response from HashiCorp has been, we're not going to encrypt state files in the open source Terraform. Instead, they have recommendations such as buy the enterprise version of Terraform. Now, I got nothing against them as a company making money, but as a user of open source software, I don't exactly love it when a company goes with a bad practice for the sake of coercing us to spend money on their product. If an open source community wants to contribute code to encrypt those state files, it probably should have been accepted a long time ago. Well, that's the mantra that's changing with the Linux Foundation forking Terraform into OpenTofu. So now this is truly open source and truly community driven. Okay, so what now, right? Well, some people are still pushing Terraform, right? And that's fine. I've got nothing against people adopting Terraform as opposed to OpenTofu, just like I've never had a problem with people adopting Pulumi as opposed to Terraform. But for me, I'm looking at, well, who's going to make it easier for me, right? The first thing, reading through licenses, that's not easy for me. I don't speak legalese. But the second thing, OpenTofu is adding features that the community has wanted for a long time, and they're going to continue to do that. And with the 1.8 release, you kind of have to make a choice between the two, right? So 1.8 introduced early evaluation. Right? What that does is it allows us to pass variables in our provider blocks. That wasn't possible before, and I learned that the hard way, trying it, assuming it would work, and then realizing it doesn't work. OpenTofu is diverging from where Terraform was. With 1.7, it was backwards compatible. With 1.8, it's a divergence in the HCL, right? In how the HCL is processed. This is where you might have to make a choice, right? For me, I'm choosing OpenTofu because it's making it easier for me as a developer to use and easier for me as a developer to request features that I don't have to worry about whether or not they conflict with the enterprise offering, right? For you, it's up to you which one you want to use, but I highly recommend you take into consideration all the factors: feature support, community adoption, and the license, right? And make up your own mind.